Your wife can't sit at the main table, my sister announced at the rehearsal dinner. She's not really family yet. The wedding's tomorrow. My fiancé's eyes filled with tears. I stood up. Then I guess I'm not really getting married. I canceled everything. Venue, catering, photographer, $63,000 total. We eloped to Santorini instead. When my sister's post asking, "Where's the groom?" went viral, my name is James, I'm 31. I work the front desk at a mid-range hotel off the interstate, the kind of place where people complain the ice machine is too far and then ask me for extra towels like I personally hid them. I'm the oldest kid in my family, the reliable one, the one who answers calls, the one who sends money when someone's short this month. I've been hearing James will figure it out since I was 15. I'm also the guy who was supposed to get married on Saturday. My fiancée Lila was sitting next to me at the rehearsal dinner, twisting the stem of her water glass between her fingers. She'd spent 2 hours getting ready, hair pinned perfectly, simple dress, nothing flashy, just her. My sister Alyssa stood up with a fork and tapped a glass like she was hosting an awards show. "Okay, quick announcement about seating tomorrow," she said, smiling like she was doing us a favor. People laughed politely. My mom nodded like Alyssa was the CEO of weddings. Alyssa pointed toward the seating chart board. "So the main table is for family, like real family." I felt my stomach drop. That sentence had a smell to it, like smoke before the fire. Lila's hand found my knee under the table, a small squeeze. "It's fine," she whispered, but her voice was already thin. Alyssa kept going. "James, you'll be at the main table, obviously. Mom and Dad, me, Grandma, the cousins." Then she looked straight at Lila and said it, loud and casual, "Your wife can't sit at the main table." The room did this weird half laugh, like people weren't sure if it was a joke. Lila blinked. "Oh, I'm sorry. What?" Alyssa smiled wider. "She's not really family yet. The wedding's tomorrow." Silence. It wasn't even dramatic silence. It was that uncomfortable silence where you can hear someone's spoon hit a plate in the back. Lila's eyes filled up instantly. Not a single tear yet, just the shine. She tried to smile like she could swallow it, like she could make herself smaller. I looked around the table. My mom didn't react like Alyssa had said something cruel. My mom reacted like Alyssa had said something smart, like this was good planning. My dad kept eating. My aunt did a little oh face, but didn't say anything. Alyssa's fiancé Brent stared at his beer like it had answers. Lila whispered, barely moving her lips, "James, please don't." But I could feel my face getting hot. I could hear my heart. I could hear the years of my family ranking people in my life like they were bouncers at a club. I pushed my chair back. Alyssa tilted her head, still smiling. "What? It's tradition." I stood up. My voice came out calm, which scared me more than if it had come out loud. "Then I guess," I said, looking at Alyssa, "I'm not really getting married. James." Alyssa laughed like I was being dramatic. "Oh my God. Sit down." I looked at Lila. Her mouth was pressed tight. Her eyes were wet. She looked like she wanted to disappear. And in that exact moment, something in me snapped into place. Not rage, not revenge, just clarity. I reached for Lila's hand. "Get your coat," I said softly. "We're leaving." Alyssa's smile finally flickered. "Wait, are you serious?" I didn't answer her. I didn't argue. I didn't beg anyone to understand. I just walked out with the woman my family had decided didn't qualify for a chair. And behind us I heard my sister say, too loud like she needed the room on her side, "James, don't be stupid. You'll ruin everything." I didn't turn around, because the truth was, they'd been ruining everything in my life for years. This time I was just done letting them. The thing about my family is, they love rules. Not real rules like don't steal or don't be cruel. More like rules that keep them in control. Growing up, Alyssa always got what she wanted because she was the baby. She's 28 now, and still acts like being younger is a permanent excuse. If I got upset, I was too sensitive. If I set a boundary, I was starting drama. If I didn't pay for something, I was selfish. And money? Money was the biggest leash. I'm a hotel front desk agent. It's honest work. I know how to handle people. I know how to stay calm when someone screams at me because their room is by the elevator. But I don't make lawyer money. I don't make tech money. I have a budget spreadsheet and I bring lunch to work money. Lila does administrative work for a small dental office. We're not rich. But we were careful. We saved. We planned our wedding like two adults building a life. My family planned it like it was their event. It started small. It always does. When we got engaged, my mom hugged me and said, "Finally!" like I'd been late turning in homework. Alyssa immediately started talking over everyone. "You have to do it in June," she said. "June is my month. Everyone's available, and it'll look good in photos." Lila smiled politely. Later in the car, she said, "Did she just claim June?" I shrugged. That's Alyssa. Then came the venue tour. Alyssa insisted on coming to help. She walked through the space like she owned it. She made comments about the chairs, the lighting, the bathrooms. Then she leaned close to me and whispered, "This place is kind of basic, but it's fine if that's what you can afford." Lila heard it. I saw her jaw tighten. On the drive home, Lila said, "James, does she talk to you like that a lot?" And I did what I always do. I minimized. It's just her tone. Except it wasn't just her tone. It was the whole family's habit of acting like I should be grateful they even show up. The deeper problem was this. My family didn't see my wedding as me and Lila becoming a unit. They saw it as me bringing Lila into their system. And in their system, Lila was a guest until they decided otherwise. Alyssa started making jokes. At brunch, she said, "Don't take this the wrong way, Lila, but you're not like one of us yet." Lila blinked. "Because we're not married yet?" Alyssa smiled. "Exactly." My mom laughed like it was cute. Later, Alyssa texted me, "Make sure your side doesn't get too many +1s. Family first." I texted back, "Lila's parents are coming. They're family." Alyssa replied, "Not technically. That word. Technically, it came up again and again, always when Alyssa wanted to downgrade someone. Technically, she's not your wife yet. Technically, her parents aren't your in-laws yet. Technically, we don't have to include them in photos. I tried to ignore it because I wanted peace. I wanted one event where nobody was fighting. So I compromised. I moved things around. I trimmed the guest list on my side because my mom said, "You don't want the room full of your random friends." I upgraded the bar package because Alyssa said, "Open bar is non-negotiable." I added extra floral arrangements because my mom said, "The tables look empty." Every time I hesitated, they pulled out the same line, "James, don't be cheap. This is your wedding." And the worst part? They said it like they weren't the ones pushing me to spend. Meanwhile, Lila's family was the opposite. Her dad asked, "Do you need help setting up?" Her mom brought us a box of little emergency items. Sewing kit, stain remover, breath mints. Like she actually cared about us being okay. Lila never demanded anything. She never acted like the wedding was a performance. She just wanted to marry me. But my family? My family treated Lila like a temporary employee. 2 weeks before the wedding, Alyssa created a group chat called James's Big Day with like 20 relatives. The first message was, "Alyssa, okay everyone, important. Family photos will be main family only. No fiancé and main shots until after ceremony. Don't argue with me." Lila saw it over my shoulder and said quietly, "So I'm not even in the photos?" I typed, "Lila is in photos. She's my fiancé." Alyssa replied instantly, "Relax, she'll be in some. But the main ones are for our family. You'll understand when you have kids." I stared at my phone like it had spit on me. Lila didn't yell, she didn't cry, she just went very still and said, "James, I don't want to start our marriage like this." I said, "It's just wedding stress." But deep down, I knew it wasn't. This was my family showing me exactly how my life would be if I didn't stop it now. They weren't just controlling seating charts. They were testing whether I'd let them humiliate the person I loved and still show up smiling. Then came rehearsal dinner night. The main table announcement wasn't random. It was a public line in the sand. Alyssa wasn't just seating Lila somewhere else. She was declaring, in front of everyone, that Lila was beneath my family. And everyone was supposed to nod along. So when I stood up and said, "Then I guess I'm not really getting married," it wasn't a clever comeback. It was the first honest sentence I'd said in years. We went home that night in silence. In our apartment, Lila took off her shoes and sat on the edge of the couch like she was bracing for impact. I sat next to her. My hands were shaking. Lila whispered, "Are you going to regret this?" And I remember thinking, regret what? Regret protecting her? Regret finally choosing the person who actually chooses me back? I looked at her and said, "I'm not doing tomorrow. Not like this." She swallowed. "Your family is going to lose their minds." "I know," I said, "and that's kind of the point." My phone was already blowing up. "Alyssa, James, stop. Come back. My mom, you're embarrassing us. My dad, call me." And then Alyssa sent the one that told me everything. "Do you know how much money is on the line?" That's when it clicked. To them, the wedding wasn't love. It was a transaction, a show, a social media event, and they wanted control because they felt entitled to the spotlight and the budget. I looked at Lila and said, "Go to bed, I'm handling it." She grabbed my hand. "Don't fight with them." I squeezed back. "I'm not fighting. I'm ending it." I opened my laptop, pulled up our wedding folder, vendor contracts, deposit receipts, payment schedules. Total spent and committed? $63,000. My stomach turned, not because I was scared of losing the wedding, because I realized how much I'd let my family push us into spending, while also pushing Leela out of the main table. And if I didn't stop it now, they'd keep doing this forever. Weddings become holidays. Holidays become kids. And suddenly, your whole life is you begging for a seat at your own table. I took one deep breath and started making calls. Not to argue, not to negotiate, to cancel. Saturday morning, wedding day. I woke up before my alarm. My mouth felt dry. My chest felt tight. Lila was still asleep. Curled on her side, mascara smudged a little from crying the night before. That tiny detail made me want to punch a wall. Instead, I grabbed my phone and walked into the kitchen. My first call was the venue coordinator. "Hi, this is James Carter. I need to cancel today's event." There was a pause. "Sir, today is the wedding." "I know." She lowered her voice like she thought I was in danger. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure." She explained the cancellation terms, the penalties, the non-refundable deposit. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I just said, "Okay." Then I called catering, then the photographer, then the florist, then the DJ. Each call felt like ripping off a bandage, but with every, "Okay, we'll process that," I felt lighter. By noon, I had a list in my notes app with numbers next to each vendor. Losses, fees, refunds. I was staring at the total when my mom called again. I answered. She didn't even say hello. "What did you do?" "I canceled," I said. She actually made a choking sound. "You can't just cancel. People are coming." "Your grandmother is dressed." Leela cried at the rehearsal dinner, I said, because Alyssa decided she wasn't family enough for a chair. My mom snapped, "Oh my God, are we still on that?" "Yes," I said, "we are." She changed tactics immediately. "James, you're throwing away $60,000. "I already did," I said. Silence. Then her voice went soft, fake soft. "Sweetheart, you're stressed. You're overreacting. Alyssa didn't mean it like that." I laughed once, not because it was funny, because it was insane. She said it out loud, in front of everyone. "She was just joking," my mom insisted. "That wasn't a joke," I said. "That was a warning. It was her telling Lila where she stands." My mom's voice sharpened. "So now you're choosing her over your family." "Yes," I said, and my voice didn't shake. "That's literally what marriage is." My mom inhaled like she was offended by oxygen. "You're being manipulated." I kept my voice even. Or I finally noticed the manipulation I grew up with. Then Alyssa took the phone. I could hear her breathing hard. "James," she hissed, "you're ruining my life." "Interesting," I said. "I didn't know my wedding was your life. Do you have any idea how bad this makes me look?" She snapped. There it was. Not, "I'm sorry I hurt her." Not, "I didn't realize." Just optics. I said, "You made yourself look bad." Alyssa's voice went louder. "She's not really family yet. It's a fact." I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I just said, "Then I'm not really getting married." She made a sound like a scream swallowed into a cough. "You can't do that," she barked. You already paid! You already invited everyone! You're wasting money like an idiot. I said I'd rather waste money than marry Lila into this. Alyssa went cold. So what, you're going to run off with her? You think you're some hero? I looked at the spreadsheet, the numbers, the hard proof of what my family had pushed us into. I said, we're leaving. Leaving where? Alyssa snapped. I glanced at Lila's passport on the counter. We'd talked about a honeymoon. Nothing booked yet because we were waiting until after the wedding. Now? I didn't want after. I wanted out. I said, somewhere you're not. My dad suddenly came on the line. His voice was tight. James, you're acting crazy. I said, Dad, did you hear what Alyssa said last night? He paused, like he was searching for a safe answer. Then he went with the classic, I don't want to get in the middle. I felt something go numb. That is the middle, I said. And you're in it. You're just choosing to stand on the side that hurts Lila. My dad tried to sound reasonable. Just come, get married, and we'll talk about it later. I said, no. My mom started crying. Not real crying. Performance crying. You're breaking my heart, she sobbed. Everyone will talk. Alyssa will be humiliated. I stared at the wall, the cheap paint in our kitchen, the magnet on the fridge from the hotel where I worked. I said, Lila was humiliated, and none of you cared. Alyssa shouted, fine. Leave, but don't come crawling back when you realize you can't afford your life without us. That one made me smile just a little, because they still thought they were the providers. They still thought I needed them. I said, you've never paid my rent. You've never covered my bills. The only thing you've given me is guilt. Then I hung up. Lila walked into the kitchen in sweatpants, hair messy, eyes puffy. She looked at my face and knew. You did it, she whispered. Yeah, I said. She swallowed hard. Are we okay? I stepped toward her and held her like she was the only real thing in the room. We're better than okay, I said. We're free. That afternoon, we drove to the courthouse with 2 friends as witnesses. No fancy dress, no main table, no speeches, just a clerk with a stamp and a bored expression. When the clerk said, congratulations, Lila's shoulders dropped like she'd been holding her breath for months. We took a selfie in the parking lot. Then we went home, packed 2 suitcases, and booked plane tickets on my phone. Destination, Santorini. Because if my family wanted to make Lila feel like she didn't belong, then I was going to take her somewhere she felt like the whole world was ours. People assumed the hardest part was losing the wedding money. It wasn't. The hardest part was the aftermath. My family didn't respond like normal people who realized they messed up. They responded like I'd stolen something from them. By the time we landed in Greece, my phone had 137 missed calls, texts stacked on texts. Alyssa, you owe me. Mom, you're destroying the family. Dad, call us when you calm down. Random aunt, your grandmother is crying. Cousin, bro, I took off work. Lila sat next to me on the plane, looking out the window. She didn't cry. She just looked tired. I opened my banking app and stared at the wedding charges, venue deposit, catering, photo package, everything my family had pushed us to upgrade. $63,000. I felt sick. Then Lila leaned her head on my shoulder and said, it's just money. I whispered back, it's money we worked for. That matters. She nodded. It matters. But you choosing me matters more. That was the moment I knew we'd actually done the right thing. Because Lila wasn't celebrating my revenge. She was relieved we didn't sign up for a lifetime of being ranked and judged. Santorini was quiet in a way my life had never been. White buildings, blue domes, wind, sun. We ate gyros on a bench like teenagers. We walked down little stone steps. We took pictures like we were allowed to be happy without permission. And slowly, my shoulders stopped being tense. Then the internet happened. On our second night, I opened Instagram and saw Alyssa had posted a selfie from the empty venue. Full makeup, fake sad face. Caption, where's the groom? She tagged me. She tagged Lila. She added a hashtag like it was a brand deal. #wedding disaster, #heartbroken sister, #family first. The comments were already brutal. Did he die? Girl, what happened? Spill the tea. Alyssa responded to people with little vague lines. He panicked. Some people can't handle commitment. We did everything for him. That last one made my jaw clench. Because yeah, they did everything. Everything except basic respect. Then someone posted a screenshot from the rehearsal dinner group chat. I didn't even know who. Maybe one of my cousins. Maybe someone on Lila's side who was tired of the disrespect. But it was Alyssa's own message from earlier. Main family only. Fiancé not at main table until after ceremony. People started connecting dots. Then a random account posted, apparently sister said bride isn't family, so she can't sit at main table. That comment got liked thousands of times. Then someone asked, is that true? Alyssa replied, it's tradition. People are sensitive. And that's when it went viral. Not celebrity viral, but everyone in our town and half the wedding drama internet viral. It got reposted on one of those accounts that shares messy family stories. It hit TikTok with a robot voice reading Alyssa's caption. And once the internet got hold of it, Alyssa couldn't control the narrative anymore. People weren't on her side. They were like, tradition equals bullying. She literally said she's not family. If my brother did that to my partner, I'd crash out. Good for him for leaving. Then someone found Lila's simple courthouse selfie that she'd posted privately for friends. 2 of us smiling in a parking lot holding the marriage certificate. The contrast was insane. Alyssa's dramatic "Where's the groom?" post looked fake as hell next to our real happiness. That's when my mom finally called with a different tone. Not angry, panicked. James, she said, voice shaking, people are saying horrible things about Alyssa. I said, yeah, they're calling her a bully. I didn't respond. My mom rushed on. Can you post something? Like, clear it up. There it was again. Not, I'm sorry. Not, we were wrong. Just, fix our image. I said, no. My mom started crying again. But she's your sister. And Lila is my wife, I said. My mom snapped. She's barely. I cut in instantly. Finish that sentence, and I'll block you forever. Silence. Then she whispered, you're really doing this. I said, I already did it. Then I hung up and blocked her for a week. We stayed in Santorini for 10 days. Not because we were rich. Because once the wedding was canceled, the honeymoon budget became our escape budget. We weren't staying in a luxury resort. We were in a small hotel with a balcony and slightly weird shower pressure. But every morning, Lila woke up, looked at the view, and smiled like she'd survived something. When we got back home, the fallout continued. Alyssa tried to corner me at my hotel job. Yes, she literally showed up at the front desk. I was checking in a guy with a suitcase and a bad attitude when I saw her in the lobby. She marched up like she owned the place. James, we need to talk. Now. I looked at the guest and said, one moment. Then I looked at Alyssa and said quietly, not here. She leaned over my counter like she was threatening a cashier. You humiliated me online, I said. You humiliated Lila in person. Alyssa hissed, she's turning you against your own blood. I stared at her. Then I did something I'd never done before. I didn't explain. I didn't justify. I didn't try to make her understand. I simply said, leave. Her eyes widened. Excuse me? This is my workplace, I said, still calm. Leave, or I call security. She looked like she was about to explode. Then she tried a new angle. You owe me money, she spat. Brent's family flew in. We paid for a rehearsal dinner. I put deposits down too. I blinked. You paid for your rehearsal dinner choices. That's not my problem. Alyssa's voice went higher. James, you can't just walk away. You're supposed to pay for the wedding. I did, I said, and I also paid for the lesson. She glared at me like she hated me. Then she said the line that made it crystal clear. She still didn't get it. Just tell everyone it was a misunderstanding. I said it wasn't. She laughed, bitter. So you're choosing strangers online over your sister? No, I said. I'm choosing the truth. Alyssa leaned closer and whispered, you're dead to me. And I surprised myself by feeling nothing. I said, okay. Then I signaled to my coworker who called security. Alyssa stormed out, screaming that she was going to sue. She didn't. My family started splitting after that. Some relatives messaged me quietly like, I didn't like how she spoke to Lila. Honestly, your sister's always been like that. You did what I wish I'd done. My dad tried to do the peacekeeper thing. He called and said, let's all meet and talk. I said no. He sighed. "James, you're being stubborn." I said, "I'm being married." That phrase became my shield, because marriage isn't a wedding. It's a line you draw and protect, and I finally had the courage to draw it. A month later, Alyssa posted again. Not an apology. Of course not. A new post, "Some people choose a woman over their own family. I hope it was worth it." People roasted her in the comments. I didn't respond. Because here's what I learned. You don't win with toxic people by arguing better. You win by not playing. Leela and I sat at our small kitchen table one night, eating takeout noodles, still tired from life, still paying off the hit we took financially. Leela said, "Do you miss it, the wedding?" I thought about the venue, the DJ, the big cake, the main table drama. Then I pictured Lila's face at that rehearsal dinner, trying not to cry. I said, "I miss the idea, not the reality." Lila nodded. "I'm glad we didn't beg for a seat." That line hit me hard, because that's what I'd been doing my whole life. Begging. For approval. For kindness. For my family to treat me like I mattered. And the moment I stopped begging, everything became simple. My moral is blunt. If someone can only love you when you accept disrespect, they don't love you. They love control. Lila is my family. Not technically. Not after tomorrow. Right now. Every day. In the boring moments. In the hard ones. And if anyone wants a place at our table, they don't get it by birthright. They get it by respect. I don't care who they are. I don't care what tradition they hide behind. I don't care how loud they cry when consequences show up. My sister wanted Lila to feel like a guest in my life. So I built a new life where Alyssa is the guest, and she's not invited.